In this lesson, we're still going to work with a linear system in 3 variables, but we're going to solve an application problem. So our only objective here is to solve an application problem using a linear system in 3 variables. So we're going to be given a word problem. We'll have 3 variables that we're trying to find the values of, and we'll have 3 pieces of information that we'll be able to relate the variables to come up with our 3 equations, and then we can solve them. Okay. A dietitian works in a hospital and prepares meals under the guidance of a physician. Suppose that for a particular patient, a physician prescribes a meal to have 500 calories, 30 grams of protein, and 220 milligrams of vitamin C. The dietitian decides to prepare a meal using steak, and we're given information about the steak, baked potato, we're given information about the baked potato, and Brussels sprouts. And we're given the nutrition information in terms of calories, protein, and vitamin C of the Brussels sprouts. How many servings of each food are required to satisfy the physician's requirements? So when it's asking how many servings of each food are required to satisfy the physician's requirements, we're talking about servings of steak, baked potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. Okay, so what I would do here is the 3 variables that I'm going to use are S for steak, P for potatoes, and B for Brussels sprouts. Actually, let me make this a little bit cleaner. Okay, and then our 3 pieces of information is we have a calorie goal, we have a protein goal, and we have a vitamin C goal. So those are going to be the 3 bits of information that we'll use to build our equations. So one equation will deal with calories, one equation will deal with protein, and one equation will deal with vitamin C. Okay, and so we can start to build a table here and fill it in. And then we also have some totals, or what things are supposed to be equal to. So the calorie goal is 500 calories, the protein goal is 30 grams of protein, and the vitamin C goal is 220 milligrams of vitamin C. So what we use are the serving amounts, the nutritional amounts given to us in the problem to fill in the boxes. So steak, 1 serving contains 300 calories, so we'll put that in our calories for steak, 300 S. Okay. So if we had a full serving, S is 1, that would be 300 calories. Or if S is 1/2, it would be 150 calories. Okay. For protein, or for potatoes, we have 100 calories. And for Brussels sprouts, we have 50 calories. Okay. And then for protein, we'll do the same thing. So steak has 20 grams of protein per serving. Baked potato has 5 grams of protein per serving. And Brussels sprouts have 5 grams of protein per serving. Lastly, vitamin C. So no vitamin C for steak, 0 S. It has 20, potatoes have 20 milligrams of vitamin C. I don't know why I put G's here. This should be the letter. I'm sorry, this should be the letter of the food. Okay, and then this is 100 milligrams of vitamin C. So this allows us to form our equations. The top one would be 300S plus 100P plus 50B equals 500. The second one, 20S plus 5P plus 5B equals 30. And then 20P plus 100B is equal to 220. And again, we're trying to find the amount of serving of steak, potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. We're given information about the total calorie goals, the total protein goals, and the total vitamin C goals. So we use that information to build our equations. So I'm going to write our 3 equations. And then we have 20S plus 5B plus 5B equals 35. And then we have 20P plus 100B is equal to 220. Okay, so now our goal is to solve the system. Notice the bottom equation already has P and B. So using our strategy, we want to eliminate S from the top 2 equations. So that way we have another equation just in terms of P and B, and then we can use substitution or elimination. Okay, so I am going to eliminate S here. If you're not sure what to multiply 20 by to get to 300, take 300 and divide it by 20, and we get 15. So we're going to multiply all of everything here by negative 15. Okay, and I write it to each term so that I remember to do it to each term. Okay, so for this equation, multiplying by negative 20, this gives us negative 300S minus 75P minus 75B is equal to negative 525. Okay, and then we're working with our top equation, which was 300s plus 100p plus 50b is equal to 500. So we add these together, and we would get 25p minus 25b is equal to negative 25. Now notice all of our terms here have a 25, so I'm just going to go ahead and divide by 25 to make it as simple as possible. So this gives us p minus b is equal to negative 1. So you get to choose again what equation it replaces. We started with this top box of equations, so I'm going to have it replace the first equation, and I'm going to write that on the next slide. So I have p minus b is equal to negative 1. My second equation was 20s plus 5p plus 5b is equal to 35. Oops, not 350, 35. And then we have 20p plus 100b is equal to 220. Okay, so we have two equations that have two variables, so we can use those. You could use substitution or elimination. In the top equation, it would be really easy to get p by itself by adding b to both sides. So add b, and we get p is equal to b minus 1. Now I'm going to substitute that into the bottom equation. So we have 20 times p, which is b minus 1, plus 100b is equal to 220. And now we distribute and solve. So 20 times b is 20b. 20 minus 1 is negative 20. We have 100b is equal to 220. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. I'll combine like terms. Okay, so this would be actually 120b minus 20 equals 220. And then I'll go to the next slide. So we'll be picking up this equation. So we have 120b minus 20 is equal to 220. Okay, so we can add 20 to both sides. And we get 120b is equal to 240. Divide by 120. And we get b would be equal to 2. So we would have 2 servings of Brussels sprouts is what we found out. Okay, now we're going to go back. We had an equation p equals b minus 1. So p is equal to b minus 1, which equals 1. So we would have 1 serving of baked potatoes. And now we use our larger equation. I'm going to have to write it out. 20s plus 5p plus 5b equals 35. So we substitute the values we found for p and b to find s. Okay, so we would have 20s plus 5 times 1 plus 5 times 2 is equal to 35. So this gives us 20s plus 5 plus 10 is equal to 35, and we would keep going. 20s plus 15 is equal to 35. Subtract 15 from both sides. 20s is equal to 20, so s would be equal to 1. So it'd be 1 serving of steak, 1 serving of baked potatoes, and 2 servings of Brussels sprouts. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.